diversity and inclusion. Now, what's the key difference and why inclusion is especially crucial?
Very good point, and people get confused with this. And there's a very famous quote, right? That diversity is inviting someone to a party.
Okay.
And inclusion is asking that person to dance with you.
Very well said.
So that's where you want to be. Okay? You don't want to tick mark diversity by just bringing them on. But are you in a position, are you okay to dance with them, to involve them, make sure that they are as comfortable as possible? And today we are not looking at equality, we're looking at equity. So why is inclusion important? Is because equity, to bring equity, we have to look at the systemic barriers that exist and find ways to remove those barriers. Once you remove those barriers, then we won't have D&I at all if we can remove them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are the unconscious biases which people have, even in a social or let's say dating space in India or in our society, the so-called modern society, evolving society?
One of the most common bias that people have, or the fear that people have, even if they are okay with having a team member who is cured and who proclaim themselves, they don't want to be seen with a cure. Because there is always a fear that others will look at me with this person and think I'm cured.
Okay.
So that kind of threatens their own sense of identity and their own sense of individuality, and for men their own masculinity, if they are seen with cues, right? So that's where the social isolation starts. It's okay if I talk during office or other space, but not be seen socially. From a dating space as well, there is a huge conception or a misconception that, let's be just frank, that gay men or the LGBTQ community is after sex, and all that they want is sex. Okay, and doesn't everybody want that? Doesn't heterosexuals also want sex in their romantic and dating life or in their marriages? So why is it penalized? There is something more than sex that people want, right? People want companionship. People want to have someone to share their joys and their worries and sadness, to do something, to follow hobbies, to travel together, to be there. At the end of the day, when you come back to home, you want someone to be there. And that's what you need to do. Exactly. People have to recognize that they are like anybody else who wants meaningful relationships.
Yeah, very difficult. Like being educated, being having worn the modern hat, okay, yet giving more preference to the age-old thought and the prejudices that we have. So, ma'am, you have worked with teams, you have worked with individuals. What role does a community and leadership play in creating a truly inclusive space? And just not tolerant, but affirming ones.
Absolutely. I think leaders have to and actually can change the complete workspace culture, because people look up to the leaders. If the leaders are genuinely inclusive, are educated, and stand up and speak up for inclusion, speak up against any discrimination, makes a favorable working environment for everybody, then it just transforms the culture, right? And it's important for them to become allies. The leaders have to pave the way and show the light. From a community perspective, even if you don't have, I can't expect everybody in the community to keep educating themselves, and that's why we are having these podcasts, right? The fact that you are calling me in is because we want to educate others,
Yeah.
and so that people are more better aware.
More and more
But-
people are conversing
But
about
my
it.
main thing is, fundamental thing is just be kind. How difficult can kindness be? Can you not treat another fellow human being with kindness? And that's a minimal expectations, right? And I want to add here, it's not just leaders in community. I want to talk of families and parents as well. How do you create the inclusive space within home?
It starts from there.
Right? Can you accept your child that you brought into this world unconditionally, right? You promised to love the child unconditionally, and now today, please don't be its first bully, right? That's the first bully that you face. So create a space of inclusivity within your home, within your own family, right? And I think that's where, we change.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it starts from your home.
Absolutely.
Starts from you. So, ma'am, we talk about. We are talking about inclusivity. We are talking about how new social fabric is getting created. But I think since there is to include, there is a division. So there is the LGBTQI plus community, and then there are the other people. Okay. So even if people want to include this community, because there is no education, there is lack of awareness, as you said. What are some of the signs, that people should look for to know if the space is safe and welcoming? I mean, it is applicable to everyone. Like, if I want to ensure that the place where I'm including my LGBTQI community people, friends, would it be welcoming? Would they feel at home? I might know how to do it, I might not know how to do it. So what are those signs?
One, there has to be inclusion built in, so essentially you drop the labels, right? So what you do is space. What is the intent of that space, right? Whom are you welcoming into that space? Are you, for me, one of the key thing is, in that space, no one, period, no one can do othering. If there is even a hint of othering, it is non-negotiable. Those who have a problem can leave. They can jolly well leave, you're fine. So the question of making sure that there is dignity and respect, and we do not tolerate. Often what happens is we don't speak up. We are observing something which is not healthy, but we don't speak up.
Yeah.
Right? We see that in our families. We see that on the road.
Yeah.
We see that, inside. If you want to give an open and safe space, you have to speak up. And you have to ensure that there is nothing discriminatory towards anybody in that space. So once that is clear, I think everything falls into place.
So this is, if we say that, this is how we should ensure inclusivity in a personal space. You have worked for many years.
One, for leaders, this is the message out to you. Listen. Learn to listen. We often forget that we need to stop and listen. We always are used to giving, preaching, talking, guiding, mentoring. Stop. Listen. Listen to what your people are saying, what your team is saying. They are speaking between the words. Listen in. Then you really understand what's happening. Educate yourself. Don't think it is the responsibility of the LGBTQ team member to educate you. You need to educate yourself. Invest in that education yourself. There's plenty of material, there's plenty of things happening. Sign up if you truly want to be inclusive. And main thing, speak up. When there's even a hint of othering, you cannot tolerate microaggressions within the teams. Of course, if there's discrimination, blatant discrimination, speak up. It is very important that you become allies. Without allies, none of us can actually thrive. Women today are made their path is because there were men who gave us that seat, who helped us, whether it's our fathers, whether it's our brothers, whether it's our grandfathers, whether it was our teachers, whether it was our bosses. There was somebody who spoke up for us.
You know, there's a very, I find it very powerful that behind every successful man there is a woman, and behind every successful woman there is a progressive man.
Absolutely. And allies really can turn it around. So if you speak up for somebody, then that changes the culture. That changes. Their people know that you are standing up and you have the power to actually do it, right? And it's very important to speak. Do not tolerate any kind of discrimination. Okay? Don't be a bystander. Start becoming an upstander. Speak up, stand up. And also, if somebody does come to you and, when you're doing this, people will feel confident about it. They might come and even open out to you. They might come out to you. Now, don't think that because they've come out to you, you can go up and telling people. No. You have to hold their confidence. You have to ask simple things. How can I help you? Tell me what I can do to help you. Those are the questions, because they will guide you onto what they need. Right? That's something that we do as parents as well. You ask, we don't know what the younger generation struggles because we are in a different world. It's best to ask our children, tell me what I can do to help you through this trouble. They will ask for help. It's the same thing. You don't know. So ask them what you can do, to help them.
Everything is communication. And as you rightly said in the first point, in our day-to-day lives and in communication is listening. It's the most crucial part. We might know things, we might not know things. The best way to learn is to listen.
And you know what? Listening is a trait, a habit that we've lost.
Yeah,
we've actually lost.
We have become less
because
patient.
moment people start talking, we are thinking about what next to say. Okay, how do I count? This is what I have to say. This is what. Listening without judgment. Stop. Just focus on the other person and listen.
Absolutely.
You get a lot of your answers.
Most of the answers are within those questions only.